do you think the euro survives the decade? I mean, what's your sort of view in terms of, you seem to obviously be pretty negative on its long-term feasibility. What's your sense of, how those pressures come to bear, given that politically the idea that you go for ever closer union seems pretty challenging?
Well, I think it's very hard to judge, because it is a balance between the economics, which suggests that it's very, very difficult to keep it together, and the politics, where people are clearly very determined not to abandon this project. And I don't see the current leadership around Europe as being willing to give it up. What they've done so far is follow a strategy of saying, we'll try to conceal the transfers that are being made to keep the show on the road, and we'll do the minimum transfers necessary to get through the next 6 months. And so you hobble on from one crisis or problem to another. And that, I think, is the most likely path down which they will continue to try to go. Now, at some point, the transfers will become sufficiently large or sufficiently transparent that I think other political parties could arise in Europe. And it'll be the question of whether those political parties can attract sufficient support to get rid of the project. And I just don't know whether that will happen. I mean, one of the things that's very striking is that if you take a country like Greece, which has suffered more than the United States suffered in the Great Depression, a staggering outcome, which I don't think any economist, if you'd asked them 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, was it likely that another modern economy would actually experience something worse than the Great Depression? Everyone would have said, impossible, we know how to prevent it. And in one level, we do know how to prevent it. But we deliberately did not go down that path. We put Greece through the ringer. And as a result, they're really struggling. Nevertheless, despite that, it still seems to be the case that there's a lot of support for the idea of the euro. And I think the concept of the euro is quite a popular one. It's just people don't know the consequences of it. And how long it will take them to realise that you can't have one without the other, I don't know. I mean, a member of my own family once said to me that wouldn't mind the UK having the euro, provided we could have our own interest rate. And that's the dilemma. But do people understand the consequences of the project?